I had a class with VIPKid today, and this particular student booked two classes at the same time. So we had our first of the two today, and she was scheduled again in a couple of days. Well, right after the lesson ended, like 10 minutes later, what happened? She canceled. So I thought it would be a great time to talk about why you aren't retaining students, because it's a great way for me to reflect on how that class went too. Hey there, I'm Allison from OnlineTeacherAllison.com, where stay-at-home parents learn how to teach online so they can earn an income from home. So it's really hard not to take this personally. I was talking to my husband after it happened and said I was a little bit salty because I was excited to finally be getting bookings on VIPKid again. And so well, as I've been thinking about it today, I came up with 5 reasons why she might not have stuck around. And I thought this would be really good for you too, because it's hard not to let it hurt your feelings, right? Especially when you put in a lot of time to it. So here we go. Let's get into it. The first reason your students might not stick around when they're brand new to you or brand new to the platform entirely is that you weren't very well prepared. Now, I thought I prepared. I flipped through the slides before class. I had props. I had a reward. I was smiley. I wasn't letting the resting, you-know-what face, the RBF, as I call it, come through, even though it was 6 a.m. and you can totally see it in my eyes right now. And I thought it was a great class. We got along. She was a little low, but we were working through it. But what I didn't prepare for was how to smoothly work through the interface. So you're probably thinking, Allison, this is VIPKid. Haven't you had like hundreds and hundreds of classes? Yes. But this is a different curriculum, I guess. So VIPKid's curriculum is hardly getting any bookings anymore, and they're booking on what's called Tiger School, and their interface is just a lot clunkier. I have to constantly swap between the pen and the cursor, and there's so many more things you can play with, like a laser pointer, there's an undo button, there's a trash button for the drawing you do. And I just wasn't prepared for the clunkiness. So when I taught a lot of level 1 with VIPKid, there was also some of that switching, but I got good at it. And since this was my first Tiger School class, I just wasn't very good at it yet. So I don't know if that came across and showed I wasn't prepared, but it was a little clunky in that aspect. And Mom was pretty close by. I could hear her. Reason number 2 why your students might not be sticking around is maybe it's just not a personality match. And I don't want you to take this in a bad way, because it's not. I want you to think about when you're friends with people. Sometimes they have a great personality that you just gravitate towards, and others, there's just something about them. You can't be friends with everybody. And that's the same thing with online teaching, is you can't be the perfect online teacher fit for every online student. So it might not have been a good personality match. Maybe I was too perky for her and she likes the calmer teachers. Granted, I do have calm days. Usually it's more than my perky, but I'm really trying to bring my A game because I'm trying to build up my classes for VIPKid for summer hours. So try not to take that personally either if it is a personality match issue, because just like not everyone's going to want to be your friend because of personality. I know that hurts too. It's the same thing online, right? Reason number 3 why your online learners, your brand new ones, might not be sticking around is your strengths aren't what they're looking for. So you might not have figured out your strength as an online teacher yet. And actually, this is something I'm working on a training for to help you figure this out. But just the bare basics is when you think about English language as a whole, it's got a lot of things, right? Vocabulary, grammar, syntax, pronunciation, punctuation. There's just a lot, and what you're good at and what you're great at teaching might not be what the student is looking to improve. So I am really good at vocabulary because I can bring in props and I can bring in body movements, and I know how to trickle it in and I know how to expand. So on today's lesson, we were talking about the moon, and it was a crescent moon. So I taught her what a crescent moon looks like, and then we talked about a full moon. So I'm really good at vocabulary because I know how to extend that way and bring in extra, as well as really spiraling in and repeating essentially old vocabulary when they need it. I get really good at knowing my students that way. And if she wasn't looking for vocabulary, and maybe she was looking for like pronunciation, I know Mom was working on that, so I tried to focus on that. then they're going to go to a teacher who's a little stronger suited in pronunciation. And again, there's nothing wrong with you not being great at pronunciation. You can't be great at everything. And as a perfectionist who is really working on herself with that the last couple of years, that can be hard to accept, and I understand that. But I want to be your pep talker and your cheerleader and tell you that try not to beat yourself up over it, because it's just the facts of life as an online teacher, and it really is okay because your students will find you. So that's what I'm doing now, is I'm looking for my students because all mine have gone. So I'm looking for a whole new batch, and it does take time and it takes patience, and I want you to stick with it. Okay? I'm telling myself the same thing. Reason number 4, your brand new online learners might not be sticking around, is that maybe your hours aren't compatible. So maybe you only want to work 5 to 8 a.m., but they really want like that 8:30 or that 9 o'clock time slot, then they're not going to stick around, because if they booked 8 o'clock or 7:30, maybe it just worked for that week and it was a one-off. And there's just no way they can make that work every week. And that's another thing too. They're going to go find a teacher that has that time spot available. So for me, I am just keeping the same. I'm only opening 3 slots a day for now. I only have the same 3 classes open. So if it is the case where just those spots aren't working, their schedule changed, then yeah, they're going to go somewhere else. And I have been around in the online teaching world long enough to know that I am not going to absolutely kill myself just to get that one more student. I have made that mistake before in the past, and that is one of the things I mentioned here, and some of the most costly mistakes you can make, because I talk about how I missed a class, and that is very costly. So go ahead and check that one out while you're at it, because number 5, this one's actually the most positive one. Maybe it has absolutely nothing to do with you. What if it's the platform? What if they didn't like it? What if they don't like the lessons now that they're into it? What if they... So a lot of students, when they're brand new on a platform, they have a trial period. Back in the day with VIPKid, they got 12 classes for free. It was essentially one unit, and that it was depending on where they got placed. It was the introductory unit, or it was, I think it was the weather unit. So if they just didn't like that unit, or they didn't like that lesson, then they're going to leave and they're going to get their money back. Now, I'm not actually quite sure how it works now, because they usually get a free trial. But back in the day, VIPKid, they got a free trial and they got a like 12 class guarantee kind of thing. So they could get their money back if they didn't like it after that 12 class period. So maybe it has nothing to do with you. Maybe it is the curriculum, and you do what you do to what you got to do and what you want to do to improve it. But honestly, there's only so much you can do. So all that to say that, I mean, there's obviously a million and one different reasons why they might not stick with you. And there is absolutely no way to list them all in a video. But I did want to really quickly talk about some of the most common ones, because I'm also pep talking myself, because I was really excited to be getting going again. I had 4 classes booked this week. Now I'm down to 3. So that's it. Let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them. I have a new video every week, but while you're waiting, make sure you watch this one. It teaches you all about how to apply and become an online ESL teacher. It teaches you 5 secrets that the platforms are looking for during the hiring process, so that you are successful for the summer and the boom in classes that they typically see. I hope you are having the greatest week ever, and we will chat soon. Bye.